is it fun to get together for press and just hang out together? Because I can imagine you didn't really get to be actually working together on this, did you?
We didn't, yeah.
How honest do you want to be?
How honest?
Let's be
very honest with me.
Right,
very honest.
We love each other.
I can hear outside the room.
It's been truly, because we don't get to record together. We really have no clue what each other is doing until we see the final product. And it's so funny because I was like, oh yeah, that's us. Like that feels like that.
I'm not sure we would have got anything done if we had been in the same recording booth.
That is absolutely true. Without a doubt.
If you've been together.
Yeah.
So how thrilled are your kids that you're Thor and Optimus Prime? They must be over the moon.
I think the kid in me is the most thrilled. My own kids, I think, begin to think it's all a bit normal, and I mean they love the film, they love Thor, they think it's cool, but I feel like it's me that's still jumping up and down and living out these childhood fantasies, you know. If you had said to me I was going to play a superhero, then Optimus Prime,
Hero, Megatron, I'm still just like, what is going on? Like, it's something that I never would have imagined for myself. Like, it still feels unreal. Yeah. And to have made the friendships that I've made, to have worked with the people that I've worked with, there's a huge amount of gratitude to it, and it never gets old. Like, you're just like, oh right, like okay, that's Megatron. That is me right there, and that's how a new generation will see it as well. Like for some of them, we'll be the only ones they know, and that's really cool. You know.
You know what was super cool for me was I was in the screening and there were all these little kids in their Transformers pajamas.
Yeah.
Their little PJs.
There was one kid.
Cheering.
There was one kid that was in a full body, like full mask, gloves and everything. I was like, he's gonna keep that on the entire movie. I know he's gonna keep it on. And I was like, I remember being that kid. I remember like I was a little bit different. Like I was obsessed with Freddy Krueger. So I would literally go to school dressed as Freddy Krueger, traumatizing all my classmates. Like, it's traumatizing, but man, it was like, I felt really great. I felt brave. I was like, let me use these butter knives and go ahead and like, it was great. But that just says something about imagination, right? Like that part of our lives where we're so steeped in imagination, where everything is possible. And like, it's the fantasy of it all. It's really great. So for us to be able to, you know, live that out and do it is really great.
So cool.
Yeah.
And Chris, what's it like telling the origin story and bringing this to a whole new generation, as well as the like hardcore, old school Transformers fans?
Yeah, it was. That's a big reason why I jumped on board. You know, to justify continuing this franchise, which is so iconic and beloved by so many people and been around for so long. We needed to bring something fresh and unique to it. And so the fact that this was an origin story, before they were mortal enemies, they were the best of friends, they were brothers, felt very fresh. And it wasn't about mimicking something that had come before. We were able to create and invent something new. You know, the end point, obviously, was to fold into the characters that people have known for many years, but we had an opportunity to start fresh, and there'd be a playfulness and a spontaneity and a youthfulness to the characters, a sense of humor that hadn't been there before. So it was a lot of fun.
You have a duty to the nostalgia, right? Like, because it was such a part of our ownership as kids to like wake up on Saturday mornings, sit down and watch Transformers, go outside, and if you were lucky enough, play with the Transformers that you acquired in your life. And so, like, when you're part of creating new nostalgia for this new generation, it's like you really want to honor that. You really want to absolutely shine a light on how this franchise and these characters belong to them, because it is a sense of ownership. You're like, oh, you know, that's my Megatron, that's my Optimus Prime, and so to be able to like bring that is really cool.
And like Chris said, you know, you start off the best of friends, and then not so much. So Brian, to play that arc of turning evil Megatron. Just how much fun is that?
It was amazing to do, but also terrifying at the same time, because I think Chris and I both went in knowing at some point we were going to have to say, I am Megatron or I am Optimus Prime. Like, we knew that was something we were going to go in and do. But, you know, to start at the beginning, and like, you know, I was like, oh, it's a coming of age story technically. And I thought about myself at their age. I was like, maybe they're 19, 20, 21. I was like, what was it like for me to leave home, to find out who I am? What was my first job? Like, what were the friends that I acquired along the way? Like, where was I questioning everything? You know, what path did I want to take in life? And so I felt like that was the same thing that our heroes were going through. And you know, to be able to see this other side of them, to see them joke, to see them be afraid, to see them take risks, to see them have jobs, was really, really gratifying. And you know, big part of the thanks goes to Josh Cooley, our director, who also is a fan of this, and that's what makes it so fun, is that it's in the hands of a fan that really cares about it. So he allowed us to really play and figure out the sense of humanity that were in all of these bots before they became who we know them as today.
How much fun have the premieres been? We saw you in Sydney on the red carpet with your family. So just how fun to go to a premiere and just know that the kids are going to sit there and love it as much as you are, and just.
That's it's to be honest, that's the best type of premiere. You know, is when there's a film that my kids can come to and their friends can come to, and normally it's, you know, I have a guest list of my family and friends, but this was my kids and their friends. There's about 50 kids, I think.
Kids to go.
And they walked into the cinema and just ran to all different seats. And then the ushers and so on were like, what name are you? Where are you sitting? Like, shoved them all up the back, and they were throwing popcorn and cheering and doing the whole bit. And it's really fun. And you sort of get to relive your youth watching it through their eyes and being around them. You know, it's infectious.
To see another generation.
Yeah.
And that you are a part of that is really cool, right? That's
very cool.
So fun. Yeah. I just saw some pictures of you guys surfing. How important is it for you with your family life to incorporate the outdoors and the fitness that we know you're so heavily into?
Yeah, my kids, they're all incredibly active, you know, and they'll be bouncing off the walls if we get them inside. And so, you know, this generation, you know, they're dealing with screens and all sorts of things that we didn't have to compete with when we were younger. And so it's definitely a conscious choice of ours and an attempt to get them outside and get them involved in as many activities and sports and amongst nature and so on as possible. But they do have an affinity for it and an attraction to it anyway. And we're lucky where we live, you know, offers all of that. So they're fishing, surfing, motorbikes, all the above. And we just try and keep up.
You're both part of the MCU, but when are we going to get to see you in a Marvel movie together?
Ooh, we have to write it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should write it, produce it. Yeah. Like we should, you know, Wolverine, Deadpool it. You know what I mean? Like Phastos and Thor, or Thor and Phastos. I'm not precious about it. I'm not precious about it. Yeah. I would literally do anything with this guy. I would work with him till the ends of the earth. Like he makes it incredibly fun. We're both idiots, which helps. Makes it much easier. I don't know.
Every idea seems very.
I'm like, he can tell me in anything. I'm like, sure, yeah, let's do it.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's great.
Even the most ridiculous idea.
Yeah, especially the most.
Because I won't be alone. Like that's the great thing. Like our codependency runs really deep now, so it's good.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. So great to talk to you both together.
Thank you.
Thank you.